Ole Miss, you said, could be a national title contender. Suddenly they have guys that have committed to them in the transfer portal that are going elsewhere. Now, you lose a player like McDonald and Baron. Those are SEC players. Those are starters, right? But at the same time, I think you lose some integrity because Lane Kiffin has gone out and promised these guys and bragged about it on Twitter that you can come to Ole Miss. And we know on the front end that he had monetary issues in the NIL because he's complained about it openly. He's asked boosters for more money. So we know he's short on cash, Caleb. Yet he goes out, and I'm thinking to myself during all this, where is Lane getting more money? Is there one magic booster that said, hey, I've got this, I've got these convenience stores and I want to start giving a lot more money to NIL? Maybe there's not. Maybe Lane just made a bunch of promises he can't keep. And if that's the case, it's going to hurt you next year, the year after, and the year after. And it could implode, great word, or undermine Ole Miss's program completely.
Yeah, I think Lane Kiffin tried to force the boosters' hands. I'm going to be honest. I think that's what he's trying to do.
That is an incredible theory. Okay, so you're saying he went out and he promised this money, and then he went back to the boosters and he said, look what I put together. And if you want to win a championship, you better write the check. And then they say, wait a second, have you ever run a business? Unfortunately, I have. But have you ever run a business? I've got X allocated for marketing dollars. Tyler Baron ain't in X. It's not in that department. That's a very interesting theory.
Yeah, that's my theory. Because here's what.
Can you please write? That is tailor-made for a Caleb Calhoun call.
Oh, I probably could. You're right. Because here's where you know where I started thinking about this? So who saw this week? Because people believe that Jim Harbaugh is now interviewing with NFL. There's two rumors going around right now. Jim Harbaugh, people think he's gone. Others think he's doing all these interviews because he wants to negotiate a higher contract for Michigan and wants to make sure that he has a clause that he can't be fired for all his violations. Yeah, that's actually something he wants in his contract at Michigan. But the reason I bring that up is the Chargers tweeted out 2 days ago. They tweeted out, quote, we've interviewed Jim Harbaugh. They were trying to force Jim Harbaugh's hand. You know that, Dave. I know that, right? They were trying to force Jim Harbaugh to commit to them because they wanted to make the same way, by the way, funny we're bringing him up. Mal Moore went public saying we had Rich Rodriguez as an offer. Remember that in 2006?
Yep, I do.
And then he had egg on the face when Rich Rodriguez was like, I'm not playing your game. I'm staying at West Virginia. I think that's what Lane's doing with Ole Miss. He's promising them these things and thinking the boosters will just cave later and go ahead and pay up. And so I think that's where he's going. And Lane's not beyond doing that. This is a guy that has, I mean, whatever you think it, not only did he not recruit character at Tennessee in 2009, he broke a lot of promises to quite a few players at Tennessee during that time too. I mean, he did.
Oh yeah. He told them how awesome Tennessee was. And then he tried to get them to go to LA. There's not two more different places in the world. I mean, that's just a fact. Travis says that is 100% down Lane's alley or Lane's lane. I would agree with that. But here's, if you're Lane Kiffin, though, and he's getting older. He's my age. So I think he's 48. You could play that Tennessee card that he played, leaving Tennessee after 1 year, because you're super young, right?
Right.
You're running out of cards. If you burn bridges at Ole Miss and other schools see that, you can't just up and leave for a similar job. You're going to burn the ultimate bridge. And I think he's trying to load up for one more year to get the Florida job, personally. But what's Florida going to say, who has their own NIL issues, if Lane Kiffin has burned a bunch of NIL bridges in Oxford? They're not going to want to hire him.
No, you're right. It's one of those things where it's like running a Ponzi scheme, isn't it? You keep moving things around to stay afloat, but eventually it's all going to crash down. I mean, my example is, I know you bring up Bernie Madoff.
Caleb's throwing heat today.
It's like, we all know the Bernie Madoff story, but the guy who managed the Fed, Alan Greenspan, from the 80s and the 90s, there were some market downturns in like 87 and 91 and 2000. And Greenspan kept saying, oh, we just move money here. We just move money here, lower interest rates here, and we're all fine. Well, eventually it all comes crashing down, and it all came crashing down in 2008. And
go ahead.
The entire philosophy was a total failure. Lane Kiffin his coaching career has been somewhat of a Ponzi scheme to this point.
Gosh, yeah. Please write that column. SC Scout Guy says someone will always take a chance on Joey Freshwater. And I don't mean this as an insult, because I know SC Scout Guy is a South Carolina fan. South Carolina would be the level of program, to me, they're parallel to Ole Miss. Yes, another school like that would take a risk, but is a school that realistically can put together a national championship contender each and every year going to take a chance on Joey Freshwater if he implodes at Ole Miss and he's done what Caleb has alleged? No, I don't think one of the top 15, 20, 25 programs in the nation is going to take a chance on him if he's done some things behind the scenes. And don't think for a second all these athletic directors and coaches don't talk. They'll know. Everybody would know.
There's only one school that would consider it because they have been reckless in their hires in the past, and that would be LSU, but they're committed to Brian Kelly. But if Brian Kelly wasn't there, I think LSU would give Lane Kiffin a call, because I think LSU has, I mean, have they ever been steered away because of baggage when they made a hire for Coach Dave? LSU.
That's true. And I want to give SC Scout Guy the final word on this. Dave, I would put Tennessee on the same level of Ole Miss and South Carolina right now, and for the past 20 years or so. I would disagree just because of the overall support of the program. I would say Tennessee's on a different level than South Carolina, but I don't want to get too caught up in that. I just think that integrity means an awful lot. And there are times that I've heard from people in coaching circles that Lane Kiffin's integrity is absolutely 100% intact because of a recent, I say recent, within the past 8 years or so, rededication spiritually. And I've been told that on several occasions. And I don't necessarily doubt that. And I give everybody the benefit of the doubt. But if his integrity is lacking in this NIL thing, it's not a sin, but it's a good way to destroy your coaching career really quick. And it's a good way to get you run out of Ole Miss if you slip to a 6 or 7 win season, which in his NIL game and transfer portal game is always possible. It happened to A&M. It could happen to any other school that relies on transfers to build a championship program instead of high school football recruiting.
Oh yeah, it definitely can. And here's the thing about integrity. Dave and I we're not trying to be, and Dave will be the first, we're not trying to be sanctimonious. We know that most coaches have issues with, and we know all coaches push the limits of integrity, right, Dave? Is that fair to say? Like all the elite coaches, every coach pushes the limits of integrity, don't they?
Yes. Some do it better than others. Like they'll say, I don't want to know about it, but they kind of know, right?
Right. But isn't there a difference between pushing the limits of integrity and then just rubbing it in everybody's face that you have no integrity whatsoever? Like that plays a little different, doesn't it?
Yeah, plays a lot different. Definitely.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, exactly. So Lane Kiffin has always been one to kind of rub it in your face, like I got no integrity. And what he would do, what a Lane defender would do, is say, "Well, okay, but these other coaches skirt through rules." Yes, but Lane Kiffin so openly and brazenly does it, and kind of openly and brazenly does things that, like he owns the fact. Like if you watch him on Twitter, he jokingly owns the fact that he has a thing for younger women. He's made jokes about it on Twitter in the past. That's weird. Like, okay, Bruce Pearl, yes, he divorced his wife and went for a much younger woman. You don't see him bragging about him being into younger women, though. Honestly, you just see him doing it. But Lane Kiffin will actually joke about himself doing it. And so I feel like he so openly throws it in your face that you almost think, oh man, that would just be even now again, before I go any further, Urban Meyer threw it in your face that he had no integrity. And I guarantee you, if Urban Meyer wanted a college job tomorrow, some school would call him. Some high-profile school.
I hate to get completely sidetracked, but thank you very much, Travis. I can't put up the picture, but apparently John Gruden is at McGee Tyson Airport, and, and Tennessee's not looking for a coach, but I don't know how to show it because there's curse words on the tweet, but he is looking at whoever took the picture of him as he's waiting on his plane like he's about to beat them like a minority, because we know he doesn't like minorities. Is that rough to say? And is there a way that you can pull this up without the curse words? And while you do that, I'll get us rolling. But I want to retweet it, but I don't retweet curse words, and it's the bad ones.
I don't know there's any way to do that. Sorry. I can pull up a picture of him at the airport, and good Lord, he's got a gut right now. But
it's just all jump. It's been rough times for John Gruden. Boy, I sure feel sorry for racists. No, I don't.
So
was like, yeah, I was in a conversation with somebody recently. Have you ever heard of the shot called a dead Nazi?
No.
Have you ever heard of that shot? Okay. It's like Jägermeister and something else. And the guy said, well, that might be offensive to some people. And I said, yeah, Nazis. And
exactly.
Really care in them.
I will tell you this. I was a history major, and in college we had a drink called Irish car bombs on St. Patty's Day, and none of my friends actually knew what. Oh Lord! Yeah, none of my.
You have not had nearly as many Irish car bombs as I have, young man.
Do you know how offensive that is to people in Northern Ireland in the 70s? Like, and they didn't even get it. And by the way, there's another one called sake bombing. That's not debating whether or not the U.S. should have dropped the bombs, but like sake bombing. But yes, it's so I get all of that, but I wanted to get to the point just real quickly. I just wanted to stick on Lane because we were so sidetracked for a second. But do you think that do you think Lane is so good that, because I talked about Urban Meyer and I thought about him because he rubbed it in your face that he had no integrity. He did not care that you knew that he had no integrity. Do you think Lane, so if he could get a job, why couldn't Lane, or is it that he has so much more cachet, Urban Meyer does at this point, than Lane does, that it doesn't matter because he's won so much?
I think Meyer has, I would take a chance on Meyer before I would Lane.
You think he's a better coach? Or do you think he has more integrity? Do you think he has more integrity? Or
I don't know.
I don't either.
Deep.
I can verifiably say Urban Meyer cannot. You can't have less integrity than Urban Meyer. Okay, Urban Meyer is almost a Butch Jones sociopath. He's just smart.
He's just a good coach. Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, he's just a good coach.
Apex Apparel Group, design, brand, market. You have got to do this for your business. You've got to call Tyler, 865-919-3001, apexapparelgroup.com, right below apexapparelgroup.com, 865-919-3001, Apex Apparel Group for your business. Still, I think one of the most offensive things that was ever said was by the Yankees announcer, the play-by-play guy at the time, where he goes, there's another A-bomb by A-Rod. Next up, Hideki Matsui. Oops.
My God. That happened. Oh, my God. Oh, my gosh.
That actually happened. Oh. Hideki Matsui from Japan. Where only 2 A-bombs have been dropped. All right, let's move on. We've had a fun time making fun of Lane, Urban Meyer, and the Yankees broadcaster. So,
by the way, but can we talk about, because we talk Nazis, Ole Miss boosters clearly don't care. Wait.
Because we talk Nazis. No, we don't.
Ole Miss boosters clearly don't care about winning, because for years they resisted. In the 70s, they fought integration when it would have helped them win. And in the 90s, they fought taking down, singing the South will rise again at the end of. They were openly fighting things that were going to be a big turnoff on a national scale to top talent. They care about that stuff more than they actually do winning. They have a history of that.
That's fair.